most influential and beloved fantasy novels ever written, which is The Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. I'm sure you all have heard of it.
Who's the writer?
J.R.R. Tolkien, short for John Ronald Reuel Tolkien. And he essentially shaped how the fantasy genre is written nowadays. And I want to first talk about one quote that is mentioned all over the book, which is "One ring to rule them all," which essentially sets the tone for all of the events that happen all throughout the book. So firstly, I want to talk about the author. As I said, his name is J.R.R. Tolkien, short for John Ronald Reuel Tolkien. He was also born in South Africa but raised in England, and he was a professor at Oxford University, teaching Old and Middle English, which essentially shaped how he wrote this story. And he also got he was influenced by a lot of things to write the story, including North and Anglo-Saxon mythology, which is why this story takes place in the fantastical world with fantasy elements all throughout it. And he also inspired all these places in the world.
What's the main plot?
Yeah, so the story is split into three parts. First part is the Fellowship of the Ring, which talks about Frodo inheriting a ring from his uncle. And this ring is essentially what keeps the Dark Lord called Sauron alive. And he stole from a wizard called Gandalf that he has to go to Mount Doom and destroy it. And so he's accompanied by a Fellowship of 9. It includes men, dwarves, elves, and other hobbits, and they essentially help him to destroy the ring. Then, in the second part, over 2 towers, the Fellowship gets separated, and Frodo and his friend Samwise Gamgee go on their quest to Mount Doom and destroy the ring. And they are accompanied by a suspicious creature called Gollum, while the rest of the Fellowship goes to war at Rohan against the evil man called Saruman. And in the return of the king, at the climax of the story, Aragorn, a character called Aragorn, essentially claims the throne. Frodo destroys the ring, and the world is saved. But not Frodo exactly who destroys the ring. It is the suspicious creature called Gollum. He's essentially a villain, but it's also more complex than that. He has a backstory that tells us that he was once a good man, and in the end he didn't make the right choice, I would say, but he had the right intent and accidentally destroyed the ring and saved the world. So this story explores many philosophical themes, like how corruption brings power. The ring is the symbol of power, how all wise men are trying to avoid it, like elves and dwarves. But men who are driven by impulses thoughts are not as wise, and they also think of capturing the ring and using it in the war against Sauron.
Did you see the film, The Lord of the Rings?
Yes, I did.
What is the difference between the story you read and the film?
Of course, there are many differences. Essentially, the whole overarching story is the same, but the novel itself explores many histories and other characters that the film couldn't fit in the 9-hour 3 parts trilogy.
If you were given the chance to give another conclusion or end for the story, what would you do?
Sorry, here.
If you are given the chance to change the conclusion or the end of the story, how would you behave in such a way or give
Well, I like a story where the villain wins, but after all, yeah, I like it because I feel it's something different from what we are used to. I would love to see like Sauron destroy all the Fellowship and essentially win, but after some time, because this story takes place in many ages. So in the second age, Sauron essentially wins, but in the third age, where Frodo resides, he was the one to essentially save the world and destroy it.
So today I wanted to share with you all a children's novel that I have read a few years ago actually, and I still think about because it really helps me think about our world today and helps me think about my own personal experiences and how lucky I am. So the children's novel is called The Midnight Gang by David Williams, published in 2016. The novel essentially talks about how a boy called Timmy was playing cricket one day and he got hit in the head by a speeding ball. Now, as you know, in cricket, speeding balls can be very dangerous, especially as a hit to the head. So he got sent to the hospital. But no, when he was sent to the hospital, he thought, oh, it must be so boring, me going to the hospital, spending a few weeks there just because I hit my head. But when he went there, when he arrived, in reality, he found out that multiple children, whether they were permanently disabled, terminally ill, or just temporarily in the hospital because of an illness that they had. A bunch of them decided to make a group called the Midnight Gang. They essentially go out in midnight. They go on adventures in the hospital to, cure their boredom. During these adventures, they have to avoid certain obstacles, like, for example, the janitors, the security at night, the strict warden. And nothing can stop you from going out and having
What
fun.
was the most interesting adventure?
The most interesting adventure was the first night. They came into the first night. The boy went to the hospital, get out of his bed and go and explore the hospital. He found a bunch of children from different wards, from different sections of the hospital. They went down and they essentially just grouped them in the basement. Because in the basement of the hospital, there's like ping pong tables, there's a pool, and the funniest part was when they decided to help the guy in the wheelchair, who was permanently in the wheelchair, essentially experienced swimming for the first time. So they went
Can you give the difference of domain from this story? An effective, a moral domain.
Moral of the story that I personally experienced, because I had experience with a bunch of terminal illness. Because I've had a bunch of experience with different terminal illnesses. So from a personal experience, this story really inspires me to keep going. And it really gives me the moral support to find and to see and to realize how lucky I am to have survived those terminal illnesses and that I can keep going in life.
Today I'm going to be talking about Atomic Habits, written by James Clear. The main idea of the book is that the small, tiny changes that can change our life. When we want to learn something new, when we want to improve ourselves, if we improve ourselves by only 1% every single day, by the end of the year we will be 37 times better than the point that we started. This is actually the math behind the tiny small changes. The author is talking about the system. When we want to build something new and we want to achieve our goals, everyone has a goals in their life. But the difference between the someone who achieved their goals and the someone who only just dream about it is the system. We need to build the right system. Building the right system needs 4 laws. There is 4 laws that we will talk about today. The first one is making the habit obvious. Our brain wants to always scan for cues in the whatever we are doing. The second law is making the habit attractive. Our brain, our generation, everyone wants to do something attractive, something nice, or like our childhood, something cool. We also have to make the habit easy. For example, if I want to go to the gym and I'm tired of not doing my bag, if I put my bag on the door, I will gonna just take the bag and go to the gym. That will make it more easy. And when we make the habit, make it more satisfying, it will be the 4 law of the behavior change. Okay, now let's talk about how to break the bad habit. For breaking the bad habit, we will inverse the 4 habits that we talk about. The first one is make it invisible. If there is a habit, for example, let's say I love to play PlayStation. If I don't want to play PlayStation and I want to break through this thing, I will just move the PlayStation from my room to another room or to another house if I can. Make it unattractive. If anything in the life is unattractive, the human body, the human brain will not gonna like to make it. And if we can make it also hard, this is the third rule.
How can you unattractive?
It depends on the thing. For example, we can reframe what we think about it. Like we have to change the thing that we,
Our beliefs
how we
about
brain
this.
think about it, how we brain see it.
Yeah.
And the last rule is make it unsatisfying. For example, when I play PlayStation, I will have to think about that my brain, I will gonna send this message to my brain that I'm not doing anything, I'm not achieving anything in the life, it's unsatisfying.
Ed, you said that every one of us يعني, change from one, for instance, step to another. So do you feel that you yourself changed when you were in grade 9 up to grade 11, for instance? And to what extent this change يعني, helped you in your
For example, when I read this book, I was not, like I was having a few bad habits, I changed it really quickly. The thing that is, the book is talking about is if we change ourselves tiny bit by bit,
Yes.
like we never, anyone cannot do overnight change.
Sure.
So when I change myself, it's actually what makes it good, brain is really good. The best thing that I learned from this book and that helped me really, and I'm really proud of it, is I started prayer again. I'm now more constant person to pray prayer. I know most of this generation.
شكرا حبيبنا شكرا ما قصرت.
I have a last question for you. How did you benefit from this book in your real life?
As I said, I start to pray again. I التزمت بالصلاة أكثر.
Thank you حبيبي. Thank you. بعد السلامة.
The one that caught my attention the most was a story called The Hunger Games by Susan Collins. This story, the main idea of it that the government, a corrupt government, forces teenagers to play in a deadly game called the Hunger Games. This game is very deadly, and only the last one standing wins or survives in this case. The story shows struggle against fear and injustice. The city takes place in a city called Penem. Two teenagers are chosen from each district to play and participate in this game. The main character is called Kristen, and she volunteers to play. She volunteers to play instead of her sister to protect her. She has to make many strategies and face many challenges, form alliances, and fight enemies, making strategic gameplay to win and survive. All of that while all of the nation is watching. There are many lessons we can learn from this story, but I think the most important lesson is courage isn't the absence of fear. As we see, Christy faced, she was obnoxious, scared, feared, but she fought this little war and she wanted real freedom. The other reason is power can be abused if it doesn't have limits. As we see that from this point, I think we are reading that has many benefits on us as effect. The main benefit of reading is that it increases imagination and logical thinking. Also, it increases reflexes and help our mind learn faster and process many things. A study that has been done from Harvard to 2020 shows that reading can increase memory and prevent early illnesses that people can face in their old ages. From this point, I look forward to read more stories and have more positive impact on myself, and I hope you all understand and follow this lead. Thank you for listening, and I hope you understand. Yeah.
Would you like to test type with courage or wisdom?
I think both actually, both are important. Each is completing each other. Wisdom is the ability to decide the correct decision in difficult situations, but courage is the thing that powers us, that makes us the engine that moves forward.
شكرا حبيبي.
Winner of the Oxford University Press writing competition. With the support and encouragement of my school principals and my teachers, of course, and family.
it started when our teacher tell us about this competition, and me and my colleagues, a little bit nervous and confused before we take our decisions to participate or not, because as you know, it was a wide nation competition. There's a lot of talented students in this competition, but yeah, if our teacher believe in us, we will not let them regret it. So yeah, we believe in ourselves and we take the decision that we will participate and we will start writing. My story was about hope, and the title was The Paper Lanterns.
Yeah?
The Paper Lanterns.
Okay.
Okay, the story is about a young girl that her name is Lena and her brother Sammy. I will tell you the important part of my story. It's from 1,500 words. The most important thing in this story that she was disappointed and feel sadful when her brother disappeared in an accident, an earthquake, while he was helping the victims of the earthquake. And Sammy and Dina in their village, they celebrated it by releasing lanterns on a specific date of the year. So Sammy and Dina, they was in their home the ones that made these lanterns. But Sammy is not there because he disappeared in the accident. So she was disappointed, but her mother advised her to forget about it and to make a lantern for her brother because she thinks he's died. So she made a lantern and she's going to release this lantern in the festival. So suddenly thunderstorm is coming while the festival is starting, but she didn't give up. She didn't give up. She released it, and suddenly Sally and her mother come back. She was really extremely happy when she see him, and or difficult. So for me, I choose this idea or this title because I want a creative idea. I want an interesting that I want to express my feeling when I write.
Okay, Adam, what did you benefit from the story? You yourself, Adam,
For myself?
yes.
I believe that hope is important in every situation. In every situation, in a positive or in a negative situation, you can say. Hope is very important.
Do you think that hope is enough?
Hope.
The hope is enough to achieve goals?
There's a lot of things that they has complete each other.
Hope should be attached with work itself.
Yeah.
See?
Of course.
شكرا يا آدم.
Why did you choose to write a story?
Because
What inspired you to write?
what inspired me, okay, the idea of the competition was to write a story about the home. You know, that I choose this because I want a genius.
So it was imposed on you, the topic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. اللي بعده أستاذ أحمد. متقدم
With advice, please stop talking.
Today I'm going to talk about the song Eisenhower. It's written by George R.R. Martin in 1996. This book
The story again?
is called Song of Eisenhower by George R.R. Martin. He wrote it in 1996. This book became famous for its deep storytelling and it became one of the most influential books of all time in our modern fantasy world. Because of its mix of political conflicts and the sense of adventure. This book is presenting many noble characters who are fighting to take control over the Iron Throne or
What did this story mean? Which country?
it's about many noble families who are fighting to take the control over a big Iron Throne.
And the story begins with an old man who was invited by the king to be his right hand in the capital. And once he arrives, he finds out about many conspiracies and plans from enemies who are planning to take down the king. And they succeed. They kill the king and they even betray this man called Nick to they betray him of and accuse him of betrayal to the king. And also, they, after they accuse him of betrayal, they obtain absolute authority over the world continent. And among all these events, you can notice the son of Niftar, who is breaking his way among all these events in the continent, and not just to revenge his father, but also to find out about many secrets in this continent and about his own origin.
Thank you, Habib. Thank you so much.
Masterpiece of classical literature, a novel called Daddy Long Legs by the American author Dean Webster. So for me, this novel is not just a story about an orphan girl, it's a very deep exploration of how we can find our own voice and our own identity. So the story follows the girl called Judy. Judy is a girl who spent 17 years of her life in an orphanage where days were very harsh and dull and repetitive. Her life takes a very dramatic change when a wealthy trustee one day decides to send her to college so she can become an author. This trustee, who insisted on staying anonymous, had one condition. Judy has to write him a letter every month and send it to him to update him on her progress. And since Judy always saw the man's long shadow looking on the wall as he was leaving, she gave him the nickname Daddy Long Legs. So, Daddy Long Legs, it's a type of spiders. So the whole novel is basically told through these letters. Through her education, we see how Judy leaves the orphanage and discovers the world for the first time. We also notice how she finds joy in very little things that others might see very common. For example, owning a new dress or reading a famous book. Also through her education, she transforms from a shy, dependent girl into a bold and independent woman, and also a very great author. So I personally learned from this novel that our past doesn't have to define our present and future. If we truly have a goal that we want to achieve, we'd be able to do it no matter what our circumstances are, if we had the confidence and determination. Another lesson too, that education is a very powerful tool for success, because Judy wouldn't have had that opportunity if she wasn't an outstanding student at school.
What's the title of your story, please?
Daddy Long Legs.
If you are given the chance to change the title,
I'd give it Long Shadow on the Wall.
thank you so much.